Hello and welcome to this week's Igraasp news capsule. Every accomplishment begins with a decision to try. So let's get ready and always step up to try new things and new ways. The highlights of today's news capsule are: India ranked 4th most powerful military in the world. Australia battered by worst flooding in over 60 years. Finland named world's happiest nation for 4th time despite pandemic. Iceland's volcano erupts after weeks of earthquakes. NASA successfully tests its most powerful rocket for Artemis mission to send astronauts to the moon. India beat England in final T20 match to clinch series win. And last but definitely not the least, our exciting and stimulating F2 segment. It's now time to begin with the national news segment.
India has been ranked as the 4th most powerful military in the world by a defense website. The calculation was done based on various factors, including budgets, number of active and inactive military personnel, total air, sea, land, and nuclear resources, average salaries, and weight of equipment. The country with the most powerful military is China, followed by the United States of America and then Russia. The world's biggest spenders on defense are the USA, China, and then India in that order respectively.
Several parts of Australia have been facing floods, with the rains sweeping away homes, cattle, and roads in the worst downpour in 60 years. Luckily, no deaths have occurred, but 18,000 people have been evacuated, with another 15,000 expected to be evacuated soon. The Warragama Dam in Sydney has been overflowing, with creating many dangerous situations. Last year, Australia in fact was facing a water crisis and drought, with the dam falling below half the water level. So you see, Igraspers, climate change is a real threat. We must be ready to combat by going greener.
This year, for the 4th year in a row, Finland was named the happiest nation, even amidst the coronavirus pandemic rocking the world. This year, of course, made collecting the data for the report a lot harder, but one of the main criteria for judgment was the amount of trust people place in their fellow citizens and in the governments of the countries that they live in. The reporter said that this trust was one of the primary reasons Finland was number 1 again. India, however, ranked quite poorly on the list, 139th out of 149 countries. To fix this, Igraspers, we must surely be better and kinder to our fellow citizens.
Famous Canadian hotel situated in Quebec City installed a beautiful ice statue of Mahatma Gandhi months before India celebrates its 75th Independence Day. Hotel named Hotel de Glace got the 7 feet tall ice statue mounted and created on Friday by an artist named Marc Lepire, who is a prominent ice sculptor in Quebec City. The pictures of the divine statue were posted on Twitter by the Indian consulate situated in Toronto.
NASA's most powerful rocket ever built to date had a successful launch this week, with the core stage of the rocket generating 1.6 million pounds of thrust in just 7 seconds. The Space Launch System, better known as the SLS rocket, is the largest rocket element the space agency has ever built. The test is a milestone for the Artemis 1 mission that will send an unmanned spacecraft on a test flight around the moon and then back to the Earth to be better prepared for future manned space missions.
Mars' surface is dry as a desert, barring its ice deposits in its polar regions. Scientists suspect that around 99% of all the water that once flowed on Mars has disappeared into the planet's red rocks. In other words, the water is trapped in the planet's crust. Studies indicate that Mars water was almost all gone 3 billion years ago, around the time when Earth's life consisted of single-cell microbes in the oceans. Earlier, scientists claimed that most of Mars water disappeared into space as a result of solar winds and atmospheric activities. However, this new study by NASA claims otherwise.
Igraasp, did you know that sometimes it's good to cry? The liquid that tear glands produce actually provide essential lubrication for our eyes and contain proteins and other compounds that prevent infections. There are some people, however, who suffer from dry eyes and have to take medications for it. Scientists, however, have now been able to make tear glands in a lab and have successfully managed to make them cry or basically secrete liquid, which would mean in the near future, people could have their tear glands fixed or replaced. Isn't science fascinating, Igraasp?
Iceland, after facing weeks of earthquakes, faced a volcanic eruption near the capital Reykjavik, with luckily no deaths or injuries reported. The eruption was small and experts said that it was quite harmless with not much damage expected. The meteorological office also stated that volcanic activity had decreased post the eruption. Iceland is a hotspot for volcanic eruptions, due to it being between the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates, with the two plates moving in opposite directions, creating a lot of situations of seismic activity. So, remember, Igraaspers, nature can be fascinating, as well as scary at the same time.
When Filipino artist Gilbert Angeles found out Philippines was one of the world's biggest contributors of plastic trash in the ocean, he decided to take action by incorporating waste into his paintings. He used shredded plastic, old paint, and leftover construction wood in his paintings. Since 2019, he has made over a dozen paintings with waste to raise awareness regarding excessive trash. The artist sources the materials from his neighborhood or through donations from contacts he has made since launching his environmental campaign.
India defeated England by 36 runs in the final T20 to take the closely contested series 3-2. Rohit Sharma and skipper Virat Kohli led from the front, scoring a 94-run partnership in the first 9 overs. Kohli, who opened the batting with Rohit Sharma, scored an unbeaten 80 to take India to the mammoth total of 224 for just the loss of 2 wickets. While England tried very hard to rally back, the total proved to be too much with them, only managing 188 for 8 in 20 overs. With this win, India will be looking to complete the treble of winning all 3 series against the English at home, with only the ODIs remaining.
Kamalpreet Kaur, hailing from the Badal village in Punjab, has set a new national record as well as breached the Olympic qualification mark in the process with a discus throw that measured 65.06 meters. She did this on her first try and beat the qualification mark by about 1.5 meters. Her throw set a new national record by beating veterans in the sport, with the 25-year-old now getting ready to represent India at the Tokyo Olympics. We wish her all the very best and hope she will make us proud.
Maggie Grout is attempting to make the first ever 3D printed school a reality on the island nation of Madagascar. Compared to traditional construction 3D printed schools, can be constructed with lesser resources and will also take a lesser time to build. Further, Grau claims that the more schools that will be 3D printed, the cheaper the process will become. This phenomenon in economics is called economies of scale. The construction of the school is all set to begin this summer and will be completed by mid-2022.
The word of the week is Imagineer, which means a person who puts creative ideas to practice. Walt Disney is an Imagineer who made his creative ideas come to life in his animations.
Super Nintendo World has finally opened at Universal Studios in Osaka, Japan. The park was scheduled to open last summer, but the timeline was disrupted due to the pandemic. Racing around the Mario Kart circuit using AR headsets is probably one of the most exhilarating activities. The Yoshi-themed ride Power Up Band to collect keys, redeem coins, play mini-games around the land, chewing on gaming-based snacks are a few more attractions amongst many more. Currently, Super Nintendo World is only open to those living in Japan. However, Igraasp, we do hope to visit it when the pandemic is over. 3 more Super Nintendo World parks are being built at Universal Studios in LA, Orlando, and in Singapore.
The riddle of the week is I have 1 head, 1 foot, and 4 legs. What am I? I don't think it's an animal. Yes, I am a bed.
Can you guess who? This German music composer of the Baroque era made music for churches in his early years. He is regarded as the greatest musician of all times, to have even inspired Mozart. His G minor Symphony No. 6 is regarded amongst the greatest composition of the 18th century. Yes, you guessed it. He is Johann Sebastian Bach. Did you know that he was known as the first of the 3 B's in music? The other 2 being Beethoven and Berlioz?
Did you know that a tornado or a twister is fast spinning tube of air that touches the ground below and a cloud above? These tornadoes move in different directions above and below the equator.
Quiz time! In which directions do tornadoes spin above and below the equator? Send your answers to contact us at igraasp.com. Answer for the last week's quiz. A group of cats is called a clouder. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Sahana of Tagore International School for successfully participating in the weekly quiz on India's leading news capsule for tweens, Igraasp.
Dear iGraspers, this week let's meet the giver. 12-year-old Jonas lives in a seemingly utopian society that has removed all pain and all beings are the same. Jonas is a genetically engineered child and he must assume the role of the keeper of memory. However, it is a matter of time before he will realize that his society is fraught with faults. What will he find? Read the book and share your feedback on igraasp.com/iClub.
This brings us to the end of our news wrap. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. Until we meet again, keep celebrating life with blissful cheer and tireless zeal. See you next week.